Outgrowing friends is one of the quiet costs of growth. Nobody puts it in their brochure. People talk about the glow up, the confidence, the discipline, the new life, but they don't talk about the empty seat next to you. Because when you change, your standards change, your habits change, your tolerance for chaos changes, and some people stay exactly where they are, not because they're bad people, not because they secretly hate you, not because you need to villainize them to justify your transformation. Sometimes they just don't want to move, and growth makes them uncomfortable. It's subtle at first. You stop laughing at the same things. The jokes feel recycled. The conversation loops. You're talking about building. They're talking about avoiding. You're talking about what's possible. They're talking about why it won't work. You start choosing early mornings, workouts, reading, creating. They start calling you different, and you are. But here's the part nobody tells you. Your growth will feel like judgment to people who aren't growing. Even if you never say a word about what they're doing, even if you never criticize them, even if you're still kind, still loyal, still present, because your life becomes a mirror, and mirrors make people angry when they don't like what they see. So the conversations get smaller, they get safer, less honest, less alive. You feel yourself editing, shrinking your excitement, downplaying your ambition. You stop telling them the wins because it turns into sarcasm. You stop sharing the vision because it turns into a joke. And then something weird happens. You start feeling lonely around people you've known for years because you're not actually with them anymore. You're just near them. And eventually you realize you're not drifting apart. You're just moving in different directions. That's not betrayal. That's evolution. And let's be real here. It still hurts because part of you wants to bring them with you. You want to say, come on, we can build a better life. You want to pull them into momentum. But growth doesn't work like that. You can't drag someone into a new identity. You can't force hunger. You can't convince someone to care. People only change when staying the same becomes more painful than transforming. Until then, they protect the familiar, even if the familiar is slowly killing them. And here's where most people mess this up. They think outgrowing friends means you have to become cold. No. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to talk down about them. You don't have to turn your story into, I'm better than them. That's ego. Real growth is quieter than that. Real growth says, I love you, but I can't live there anymore. Because if you keep living in rooms you've outgrown, you suffocate. And sooner or later, you'll start resenting them, not because they did something wrong, but because you stayed somewhere your soul was trying to leave. So what do? First, stop trying to make everyone understand. Some people aren't confused, they're threatened. Second, accept that not everyone is a forever friend. Some people are seasonal. Some people are for a chapter. Some people are for the version of you that no longer exists. Third, upgrade your environment. You don't need more motivation. You need more mirrors of who you're becoming. Find people who make discipline normal, who make ambition safe, who make honesty feel like oxygen. Because the truth is, your next level requires a different circle. Not because you're special, but because your life is shaped by what's normalized around you. And if the people around you normalize stagnation, procrastination, cynicism, and excuses, you'll eventually start negotiating with your own potential. Finally, let the distance be clean. No dramatic breakups, no revenge, no announcement. Just a quiet shift, a respectful fade, a choice. Because sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop forcing alignment where alignment no longer exists. And if you're feeling guilty about it, listen, you're not responsible for how your growth makes other people feel. You're responsible for what you do with your life. Outgrowing friends is one of the quiet costs of growth. You change. If this season feels lonely, it's because you're between rooms. Don't turn back. You're not lost. You're just early.